Yo, Wagwan everybody. My name is V Prospect, and for the last 12 months, I've been playing Fortnite on a keyboard and mouse. And in this past year, I have had the most insane progression. So in today's video, I'm going to not only tell you about the timeline of my progression, I'm going to also give some tips and tricks for people that are debating the Switch themselves. But before we begin, I do want to answer one question. Is it worth it to switch to keyboard and mouse? Yes, 100% yes. Anyways though, let's begin. I want to talk about 3 months at a time just for the sake of saving time here. So my first 3 months, these took place around OG Fortnite and Chapter 5 Season 1. In these first 3 months, I had a lot to learn because it was my first time playing any video game ever on keyboard and mouse. So I had to learn how to build, how to aim, how to shoot, how to do everything in Fortnite bit by bit and piece by piece. And this took me quite a long time. As I said, it was my first time ever playing a game on keyboard. So one little tip that I can point out is that if you have played a game on keyboard and mouse before, your progression will certainly be quicker than mine was. But if you haven't, don't worry, because you can still put the grind in, you can still become good at the game, because that's how I started and I've gotten pretty good. But let's move on to talk about months 4, 5, and 6. Months 4, 5, and 6 were when I finally started to build off of the basics and the fundamentals of Fortnite. I started to be able to build, started to be able to do very basic piece control, and I finally started to be able to perform well in pubs. Of course, I wasn't performing in ranked very well. My community won't let me forget the L that I took in that season. But yeah, I was able to perform in pubs very well, do the basics of piece control, and hit a couple, albeit mid, clips. And yeah, my clips were pretty mid at the time, but at the time they felt like they were crazy, like the best thing in the world. And that's one tip that I can give, is when you switch to keyboard and mouse, you're going to be a pretty bad player for a while. And that's why you've got to be patient. You've got to be able to know, I am going to be a good player. I am going to get better. I'm getting better right now. You've got to remind yourself of that. But you've also got to be able to be proud of your accomplishments. Even if a little basic full box kill isn't impressive to most people, if it's your first time doing that on keyboard, you've got to own it and be proud of it, and then continue building off of it. So essentially, stay patient and be proud of the progress you've made. But before I talk about months 7, 8, and 9, I want to show one of the maps that helped me get to the point that I'm at. And that is my simplistic free build map. I personally made this map and I crafted it so that you can be in here and you can free build on 0 ping. If you want to try it out, island code is right here. In the very near future, I'm going to be releasing an update adding the new loot pool and just improving the 0 ping mechanics. But if you do try this one out, make sure you like and favorite it to help support me. But plug out the way, let's talk about months 7, 8, and 9. Months 7 and 8 were when I started to build off of what I knew once again, and my mid clips went to pretty decent clips, you feel me? I managed to start hitting better and better clips, but I was still a pretty flicky player. I was still, you know what I mean, my mechanics just looked weird, and one big thing was that I didn't play with very much IQ. But that's when month 9 comes around, because month 9 was very weird in a few ways. In month 9, I took a 3-week vacation, and then I came back to the game for the last week. And it was very weird because I had expected to play washed and like a bad player, but when I came back to the game, it was actually the opposite. Everything kind of clicked, and I felt like things were just making more and more sense, you feel me? I was just playing better, and it almost seemed like some of the people I was fighting was in slow-mo, you know? Like I was just stinking quicker. And so that, paired with my coach 21 Turnt teaching me how to better apply my mechanics in fights, I became a way smarter player in month 9. And now months 10 and 11. Months 10 and 11, I had applied what I learned in month 9 and just continued to improve both my strategy and my mechanics, because that's when I learned that it doesn't just matter how skilled you are mechanically, it matters how smart you are in fights. So one tip that I would give you as you're practicing on keyboard is to not only practice your mechanics, but practice how you're going to use them. When you practice, make sure you fight other players. Make sure you think about how you're going to use what you practice in your fights. And make sure when you practice for the sake of winning fights. Because for me, I just wanted to look flashy. And that was probably my biggest mistake is I put so much effort into looking flashy and looking cool that I didn't look smart. And that is definitely going to hurt you in the long run if you do the same thing I did. So make sure to be an even balance of smart and flashy. Practice your mechanics and practice your strategy and remain mindful through the process. But here's where things get lit. In my month 11 keyboard and mouse last month, I said this. On 1 year of keyboard and mouse progression, I'm going to be putting the grind in on hitting Unreal in all types of ranked. And I did. So yeah, if you were curious on how that went, yes, I managed to hit Unreal in mostly every game mode. What I'm really hyped about is that I hit it in reload and builds. I'm not too upset by the fact that I missed out on zero build, because it's zero build, bro. Who cares? But I do briefly want to touch on my mindset when I switched to keyboard and mouse, because I always had a vision for the kind of player that I wanted to be, but I never had the skill or the mechanics or the IQ to match up to that. And that was made painfully obvious to me. Every tourney I tried, I failed. Every trick shot I went for sucked. Every clip I went for was mid. Every montage I posted was a miss. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I felt like I needed to make a change. And that's when I decided to switch to keyboard. Because I felt that by playing on keyboard and mouse, I could become that version of myself that is the player that I want to become. And I'm going to go out there and say, I was completely right. I would say in this 12th month, I finally became the player that I wanted to become. I could hit some pretty good clips. I could perform well in ranked. I could hit some banging trick shots. And I could do Unreal carries on streams. And to be completely honest with you, that is more than enough for me. I have finally fulfilled the vision of the player that I want to be, and I am more than happy to say that. So this is going to be my last keyboard and mouse progression. I do want to say, if you guys tapped in and stuck around for the journey, I appreciate you. You feel me? There was a lot of videos, there was a lot of memes, and there was a lot of lit times in the progression. So I just want to say thanks y'all for tapping in. Hope you guys enjoyed the series. But that's all I've got for today's video. So of course, thanks for tapping in and sticking around. If you did enjoy today's video and you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to be going crazy all month with the uploads. But that's all I've got today. So I'll see y'all in the next one.